as you look at the tape today, is there anything that you look back at and schematically and say, here are some of the things we should have done or could have done to stem the tide, in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and overtime?
Yeah, I think you always look at that when when things don't work, you always go back and look and say, hey, what could we have done better schematically? What could we, to put our players in position to make the plays. And, in the course of those drives, obviously we tried various things in those drives, where we had our 2-minute menu and our third down menu that we were using there. We had simulated pressures. We had, zone pressures that were too high. We had zone pressures that were single high. We rushed played quarters. We played quarter, half. We did those variations in those things. And, with that quarterback, a lot of times what will happen is he extends the plays and guys start to work open. And that happens a few times, several times. So we just have to do better. We got to do better as coaches. We got to do a better job setting guys in position. And, we always do that, when things don't work. That's what you do as a coach. How can I put my guys in a better position to make the plays that they need to? Because, we have tremendous talent on the field. I believe in our players. They do an outstanding job of working. Their work ethic and what they did during the week was outstanding. And, you got a lot of playmakers out there, from Darius to Buck to Kenny to a bunch of guys out there. Everybody out there is really a playmaker, but those guys are certainly that. So we got to do a better job as coaches putting them in position.
To follow up real quick, how was your approach impacted by the fact that you had a couple of practice squad guys playing really down the stretch?
It's impacted. Obviously, you got to be smart. You're always talking about matchups when that happens. When you have, in that one drive we did obviously have 3 guys go in there, 2 to 3 guys go down with cramps, and you got to be mindful. You might back a guy up, in his coverage where you wouldn't press him. You might roll him up, roll up a guy over top of him based on your coverages. But certainly that does impact what you're thinking there, because everybody's thinking about matchups at that time.
Thanks.
Joel Erickson.
Flus, when a team starts going tempo like that, I know the kind of pressure that puts on the pass rush and those guys, and you want to sub them in. What can you do to kind of combat tempo when they start really getting going like they?
Yeah, the best thing you can do is keep the guys in there for 4 or 5, 6 plays, and then rotate them out when you get a chance. And we just need to do a good job of that. We did okay at it, but I think we can do better. We got to rotate guys. I think getting Quiddy back, getting Ike back, getting Dio back coming up soon. I think having a rotation that we have, 9 guys, especially you have more defensive ends, because that's who you need when you get up on teams like we were against Miami, and then also against Baltimore. We had those situations where we need those ends, those rushers, those pass rushers in there to rotate and stay fresh. And I think that having those guys back is going to definitely help us in terms of our rotation. But we have to do a good job there last night, rotating those guys and keeping them fresh during that time.
Chat.
Yeah, Flus, just I guess it's simplistic, but it appears last night and in for a lot so far that you've not gotten the consistent pass rush, whether it's just with your front 4 or whatever, maybe primarily from the edge. I guess how is that stressing the secondary and coverage when it seems hit and miss on the pass rush?
Yeah, just and Chap, you've seen it. Obviously, you guys were here when the pass rushers were here, and they obviously really honed in, and the ball was out quick, and we all know that. That's in the NFL, when you see those guys coming off the edge, man, that ball comes out fast, and that allows your secondary to set up and break if they're in zone. It allows them to have a clock in their head to be able to react to the pass. And I think that's certainly a benefit to that. But hey, we believe in our guys, and we know that they're going to get going. Like I said, we get Quiddy back in the rotation, Dio comes back, Trey keeps going. Buck is in there working his tail off. So it's going to get going, and we feel positive about it. And we have to do a couple things, going forward potentially, where you're, rotating guys, giving different front variations, sending 5, sending 6, rushing 3 and working the guy in there that can potentially shark the quarterback. We're going to, like I said, as a coach, you try to work for all answers, and we're just going to, look at everything and make sure we do it better. And that's our job as coaches.
Just quick follow-up. How much blitzing did you do last night? He seems to be a guy that it's risky to blitz him.
Yeah, we did a fair amount. The NFL doesn't count them when they run, but we did a fair amount in terms of the blitzes. I thought we were real aggressive last night at times, and we pick and choose when we did that, and sometimes he gets out of the well a little bit when you do that and extends the plays. And the one time we blitzed, I think he scrambled 62 yards to the left and to the right, and then we tackled him midfield. So, that can happen with that guy.
George Bremer.
Were they doing anything unique or special with Mark Andrews down there near the goal line, and sort of what makes him such a tough matchup down there?
Yeah, so I think like with Kelsey and Andrews and Mo Alley, those guys are big body guys. Those are guys that are always going to be a target in the red zone just because of their catch radius, and their frame. They could big body or big boy in there where they just push you off, kind of like Mark did last night on the one play. He was matched up on our Mike linebacker, just kind of pushed him off and then turned around, and just his body presence in there. That's why you got to do a great job with your leverage. Your leverage points have got to be on point down there in the red zone. If you're an inside player, you got to stay inside out. If you're an outside in player, you got to do that. So obviously those two guys work in tandem pretty well, and he's certainly a high talented guy, one of the best in the league.
All right, we'll wrap up here with Bob Kravitz.
Matt, I know you cut your teeth with Rod Marinelli, and I'm just wondering, why do you believe so strongly in the style of defense that you play?
Yeah, so I was with Rod for several years, 5, I believe, in Dallas, and I just know that when you get this thing humming the right way, it's a way where you can really get takeaways, and you can really do a great job of creating momentum for your football team, and I think that's it. Now, was also with a couple other guys. I was also in the 3-4 for quite some time as well. And, I'm not totally in terms of like the Tampa 2 type of scheme. Obviously, we do a lot more coverages than that. We play a lot more quarters. We play quarter, half. We play a lot of those different variations. We play match 3, 3 lean. We play a lot of different coverages here. As opposed that I used to play back when I was in Dallas. But I think that, I think the world of Rod Marinelli, what he taught me is that the ability to be simplistic, okay, and be rooted in the fundamentals of football. And that's what wins football games. And it always comes down to those key elements, the angles and the tackling and the hitting and the takeaways is what we believe in. And that's what we'll continue to believe in.
One more quick one with Joel Erickson.
Flus, what prompted you to start incorporating more coverages and expanding on what you guys did in Dallas?
Yeah, just the nature of the league. Just the nature of the league. The league evolves. You got to evolve with it. I think it just matches up better with the college style that's coming up to the NFL, and that's just really the onset of that. That's really it, the genesis of that. We're just going to keep evolving and changing, but also keeping in the rudiments of football.
The storyline this year, like when I'm watching games and stuff, has been that more and more teams are kind of playing back and forcing quarterbacks to make a lot of throws and drives. Is that something that's just kind of where the game's been going to?
Yeah, I think guys are trying to eliminate, some of the nuances and scheme elements that we're getting from the offenses, and then I think that the route combinations that they're giving you now, putting 4 to a side, 5 to a side, like we saw last night a lot. I think you're seeing a lot of those things during that. I think the coverage variation helps you to deal with those during the course of week to week and in the course of every week. So that's why you see it.